YouTube, what is going on, new family, new people watching. Daniel back here, another video. I want to shoot this as right now I'm on my way back from the train station. I have my lunchbox here as well. Macros, never miss the macros. So I want to reflect as I'm on my way back. It's about like a 20-minute walk left, and just reflecting on the call I had yesterday, call of wisdom with my brother, and really just reflecting and realizing things about self-belief, which is super key and important, and the ultimate factor in terms of you receiving what God has for you. But number two is how any worrying about how, when, or why is always the devil. I had the wisdom, thankfully, given to me yesterday by him, and was crazy when I got it. It was the Holy Spirit, that gave it to me through him. But 11:11 when I look, crazy. 1:11, but it was a call that, it's one of those calls that you don't really feel till after. And I'm shooting this the day after our call, and truly, I can say it was one of the best calls we've had in terms of that wisdom and understanding that, like I said, if you right now have something in mind that you feel is yours, belongs to you, a desire from the heart, and you are worrying about the how or the when it's going to happen or why it hasn't happened yet, realize that it's the devil taking that away from you and killing your frequency with thinking about that. And me personally, I've had a moment when I was young, 21, where I went through, you could say, depression. It's not real, but at that point it felt real because I didn't know all this was spiritual, and this whole battle is spiritual. But essentially, I let the devil lower my frequency to the point where I believe I was depressed, and I was also examined and told I was severely depressed. So I was put in a clinic. This was in Ecuador, not here in Canada where I live, but this was after my first breakup. There's a video about it. You can go back to, one of my first few videos talking about it. But essentially I was, put in the clinic, and, was given fluids, was told not to exercise, which is, crazy, because, then I realized, they wanted me to stay there. All the clinics, doctors, whatever it is, hospitals, they want you to stay sick. They don't want you to get better. But a different story. Essentially, I was there, and not working out, giving fluids for who knows what. They said it was like vitamins and minerals, but at that point I didn't even know what it was. It was probably maybe to make me even more, meek and weak and vulnerable. But essentially, it was one moment where I realized I was there, and my family left me every day there, and I knew it wasn't helping me, but they believed it was helping me because they didn't know what to do. I was lost in, funny enough, videos. I was watching YouTube videos, and finding ways to get out of where I was, because I lost that girlfriend. I didn't have any options with women, and I was watching pickup videos, how to pick up girls. But the thing is, I was watching the videos, getting a feeling from how it would be to do it one day, but never actually applying it. So that put me in the spiral of, how am I going to do this? When am I going to do this? Why am I not doing it? So like I said, how and why put me into this, crazy space where I had to end up going to Ecuador. But point is, to skip to the best part, you could say the most important part, is that one day I realized that this was killing me. All these stories were getting me nowhere. I was allowing a story about somebody to keep me in this place, and I used anger, positive anger. I made a video about this, the importance of it. It's what got me out of my first, probably my only real low point. Second one was more spiritual, but this one was, even physical. But I told myself, I'm gonna get out of here. And at that point, like I said, I was thinking about always how and why. But at that point, I made a decision. I made a promise to myself and said, I am going to get out of here. I did not think about the how. I didn't care about the how or the when it was going to happen, or how it was going to look like, or why it didn't happen yet, or whatever it was. I just said, today is the day I get out. And I remember I was in a washroom It was like almost like a basement. I was taking a shower because they made us take showers there. And there's a little light that came in through the window. I realized now that was God calling me. But it was that faith. And when you have faith, like I said, that moment, I didn't need to know the how, the when, the why. I knew that that light, that moment, that instance, that I had that conscience tell me, like, this is it. That was all I needed. I didn't care about how it was going to happen or when. I just knew I was ready to commit myself to that path, and didn't care, like I said, how it looked like. And now I'm standing here. How long was that? 8 years later, 9 years later, and it seems like a long time. It is a long time ago, but the same principle applies. If you want to get anywhere and do it with God there and faith and grow, the only way, to do that is through removing the why, removing the how, removing the when, removing the why, committing yourself to the decision that's going to happen, whatever it is. If you want something material, as long as it's not for ego, it's going to happen as a result of you serving people with your gift, whether it's a car, whether it's a house. I know I talk about this and say don't give a feeling to it because people escape with those things, but I'm saying when you are aligned, you are not thinking, you're flowing, those things will come to you, but you have to feel that they will come to you. You don't have to ask yourself, like the world tells you how, and write down how it's going to happen, and the plan and the vision, and the vision board and the step-by-step and the 6-week plan or whatever it is. You forget about all that and simply feel it's coming to you. It's called, you can say, manifestation. I believe it's just faith, but that is what I unconsciously did that day. And funny enough, crazy enough, I forgot about the power that has. And that's why I'm making this video, to teach you guys, but as well teach myself that this whole path game is all frequency, all energy, all spiritual. But really, the whole thing is, if you don't believe in yourself, because God already believes in you, then He chose you for this path. So does Jesus, and so does the Holy Spirit. That's why it's working through you. But if you don't believe in yourself, then those things He has planned for you, unfortunately, will never reach you, because you remove that channel of, you could say, alignment when you don't have that belief or have that feeling that's going to come to you. It's not imagining it, like I said, or giving a feeling to it, and now the rest of the day you're going to be like, oh yeah, I believe I'm going to have that money, so you start thinking about it and giving a feeling to it. No, it's feeling it's going to come to you, letting it go, and doing everything in your power to stay aligned, raise your frequency, and flow. Those are the only things that make that come to you when it's time, and not in your time. Like I said, not wondering when again and how and why, but feeling and knowing it's going to come to you because it's the desire of your heart. And as it says in the Bible, live righteously and give your faith to God, and the desires of the heart will come to you. The same applies for your life, everyone's life. He knows the desires of your heart that will help you grow, will keep Him in your life, and not just giving things for your ego. And the whole key here is doing it without questioning the when, the how, and the why, because that is the devil. The devil wants you to think about, how it's going to happen, to make you think, to lower your frequency, to doubt, to worry, to be anxious, depressed, why it's not there, how it's going to happen. If you think about that, it's never going to attract it to you, because you're thinking, you're lowering your frequency. When you let it go, you feel it's going to happen, but you let it go. It's almost like you don't need it. Not that you don't care, but you don't need it. That is when you attract the things this life has for you, that God has for you. I do not know what's in your heart. I do not know if it's ego or if it's, righteous and something that gives faith to the world. You using it for the right reasons and not just having it for your ego to show it off to whoever it is or to the world. But you and Jesus know. And that thing that you know is yours, you have to believe and feel it's going to happen, not imagine it, but most importantly, let it go. Stop worrying about how it's going to happen and why and when, but let it go and faith, keep working, and God's timing is perfect. Like I give you my example of that I had to hit that place in order for me to get out and receive the blessings that I did along that path. Eventually went into ego because I got very good with socializing and meeting women, but I embarked on a path that made me grow massively socially, with confidence. I was not using vices for the first year I was doing that, but eventually it turned into massive lust, ego, pride, all these things, arrogance, cockiness, and I ended up trying to make a identity around it. I tried to be the playboy Daniel pickup guy, and ended up putting me in a place where I was also the devil, but it's perfect because I was here and put on this path. But the video is to remind you that what is yours is yours. As long as you feel it and know it and let it go in faith and know what's going to come, and stop worrying about those things that I mentioned, those 3 questions, that is the only way it can come to you when God knows it's time. Not when you know it's time or believe it's time or want it to be time, or the world tells you it's time because of your age or whatever it is, or social status or things of the worldly things. Let go of all that. It is faith, it's feeling it, it's knowing it, and it's letting it go. And like I said, not thinking, not envisioning it, not giving it a feeling, and most importantly, not letting the devil make you ask those 3 questions, because as soon as you ask those questions, like it happened to me, you never get out of that place. You get lower frequency, lower and lower. You get in this spiral of asking that question over and over, not taking any action. Most importantly, not raising your frequency, which is what attracts those things. And then years go by, decades go by, and you wonder what happened. This whole game that I preach on here, I preach on my Instagram, you guys can follow me on there, is frequency. It's connecting with God, staying on the path that He has for you, and everything will come. Like I said, those desires of the heart, He knows them and you know them. The world, as much as you want the world to see it, if you don't want the world to see it, it's ego. But those things of the heart that are for you will come. This path is not about, being in lack and not having any money ever, and, just living unabundantly. Your spirit is abundant, but the spirit does not need anything. It does not attach itself to anything of this world. And most importantly, it has faith in where it does not see. So that is why letting the Spirit guide you is the goal of this path. Living aligned, living high frequency, and flowing. So if you remember anything about this video, remember that those questions are the devil trying to tempt you and get that thing away from you. And most importantly, it's disaligning you. Those questions disaligned me for a long time. And until I reflected on that wisdom I got yesterday, today, I realized how impactful it's been in order for me to achieve the things I've achieved. And like I said, it's all because I made the decision, did not reflect any longer on the how or the when and the why, and then from there put my faith through my action and through keeping myself in momentum and flowing. So that is the path, that is the key. Belief in yourself, feeling what is yours, and God will give you the how and the when. And most importantly, He will give you the power through the Holy Spirit to achieve those things in a time that He knows is perfect and is perfect, but most importantly, in a way that you never imagined possible, because like I said, the how is not up to you. So, quick little wisdom as I get back to the place. The mic should be better. We did fix it from last video. The volume was a bit low. Someone mentioned that, so fix that for this one. And yeah, more wisdom coming. Gonna keep speaking on here. That's the way to grow. Speaking, giving your story, giving the stories that the devil is giving you, flowing. And my gift I'm seeing is speaking, especially when I get into flow state, and just let the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, work through me. But this video was more to give you the wisdom that was given to me by the Holy Spirit through another person that's connected, and just something that you can grow from massively if you apply it. Removing the how from your mind, removing the when from your mind, removing the why, and simply feeling and knowing those things are coming to you and aligning yourself. Everything else is up to God. Everything else is faith. Everything else is frequency. Everything else is alignment. Everything else is flowing. So God bless. Hope you guys like the video. Like and subscribe if you do. More coming on the channel. But as always, until next time, I believe in you. I have faith in you. And keep killing it.